What's up, Closer Nation? Welcome to the Hardcore Closer Podcast. I am Ryan Stewman, founder, CEO, president, chief motherfucker in charge over at hardcorecloser.com. And this podcast is all about helping you, the sales professional, right? Some of us, we're not really that professional. We're professional at sales, but we don't look so professional, right? We're the misfits of the world. Many of us tattoos, all that. Because anyway, my ADD might be a little bit strong today, you folks, and I've had a lot of coffee. Anyway, look, if you're selling cars, homes, financial services, consulting, coaching, training, like e-commerce, internet marketing, whatever it is that you sell, this whole entire podcast, it's like 54 episodes so far, is dedicated to helping you charge premium fees, because I believe the salesperson is grossly underpaid, and I want to help you charge premium fees so you can get paid what you're worth. This is episode number 54 of the THC podcast, and I'm glad you're here. If this is your first time here, fuck yeah. Welcome aboard, bro. Right? We're glad to have you. Give somebody a high five for sending you here. And if you've been here before, then you know the drill. And look, if you haven't left a review on iTunes, I'm going to go through this spiel every single episode. What happened was I'm trying to get in front of 300 million people so that I can help increase the quality of their lives. I ask you, I do this for free. This podcast costs you nothing. Some assholes charge for podcasts on iTunes. Not me. Not this guy. I don't have to roll like that. I'm helping y'all out because I want to change the world. I feel like I have a gift that runs through me that I want to help change the world, but I need you to help, because one of the biggest platforms that we get views on or listens on, and you're probably listening to this right now on iTunes. And so it's important that you leave a review, because the more reviews you get and the more listens you get, the higher up the list it gets, the more exposure they give you, the more people reach out to me from the PR firm, which allows me to get in front of more people so that I can help more people that are the misfits, like most of us that listen to this episode, that, haven't had the easiest life and have come up the hard way and are experts in our field and can sell the shit out of anything that you put in front of us to sell. Like, I want to be able to reach those people and tell them that you don't have to, clean up and wear a suit and tie and go to church on Sunday and everything else. It's okay to be whoever it is that you want to be, right? Like that, and you can close sales and kick ass in the meantime. That's what I'm trying to do. I just need your help. If it's your first time, when the next time you come back, go leave me a review. But if you've listened to more than one episode, which we have like 20,000 people a month that listen to this shit, and that's just like on a couple of outlets, more like probably 25, maybe 30,000 people a month that listen to this show, and we got like 600 reviews or some shit. Come on, dog. Come on, dog. Hook me up, man. All right. So look, for example, right here, it says, delete if you don't like. Well, that's what I'm talking about. What the hell? What kind of name is that? But it's a 5-star one. Why wouldn't we like it? It says, I closed my first deal. I've been selling cars for 3 weeks and would always have to turn my customers to someone else to get them closed. But I started listening to your podcast 2 days ago, and it changed my mentality. That keyword change. See, that's what we're trying to do over here. It changed my mentality about closing, and I closed my first deal today. Thank you. This podcast is godlike. See, that's what I'm talking about. See, that word change. I like that this person, delete if you don't like, use the word change, because that's what I'm trying to do. And here's what happens with change. When change comes, it's going to happen with or without you, but it's most likely going to piss you off in the process. And that's what I do. And I have to change people's minds, because when you change your mind, you change your life. And so when I come into a lot of people's lives, they resist change and they get pissed off and they think I'm a douchebag and they make fun of my haircut and they say I don't know what the hell I'm talking about and everything else. And I get that, man. And I give tough love to those people, because I know that if they'll just push through that and change, things will get better. But I know that in order to change, it's just like you go to the gym and you want to change the shape of your body. You got to go through some pain, and your body's going to push back. It's going to be like, slow the treadmill down. And your brain's going to be like, no, you fat fuck, keep going, right? Like this is just part of change, all right? There's always a massive amount of resistance. And here's the change that you're probably going to be. Today is the mindset change. This is going to be the best episode that I've ever recorded. I'm just saying that in advance, because let's talk about a real change. Most of the people that listen to this show make 6 figures a year, right? There's a few out there, a few thousand maybe, that make 7 figures a year. There's not a lot. There's only 240,000 people in the world that make 7 figures or more annually, right? So there's not a whole lot of people out there that do that. I mean, I'm proud that some of those folks listen to this show. But what happens is a lot of people, they don't change enough and they resist the change and they never make the transition from 6 to 7 figures. I know. I was there for many years. And so today, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about how to go from a 6-figure income to a 7-figure income. And I'm going to tell you from firsthand experience, right? This isn't some speculation or maybe I've studied some companies. I'm just going to tell you my personal experience and the things that I had to break through mentally, because money's more, I know you hear this shit and you'd be like, money is not more mental than it is like hard work. That is some bullshit that rich people say. That's because when you get on the other side of the coin, and I'm not saying I'm rich, I'm not. Right. And because I like to surround myself with wealthy people, I'm usually the brokest motherfucker in the room. And I'm okay with that. That's how I choose to live my life. I like that. And because that instills change in me. And I know change is a good thing. But what happens is most people, they stay in this 6-figure realm. And a couple of things that happens, in order to change, you've got to push through something. In order for you to change from 6 to 7, you've got to push through something. But anytime you're trying to push through something, it's like the treadmill thing that I was just talking about earlier. There's an instance inside of you. It's like, bro, you're comfortable making $250,000 a year. That's totally acceptable. Look, you got a nice house, a nice car, a chick that lets you fuck her whenever you want to. Like, you got everything going your way, bro. Just fucking calm down. You don't have to work that much. I know, because I hear that same voice in my head now. It's like, Ryan, you don't need to make $10 million a year. I mean, you're okay with, you just get to a certain amount of money every month and you can vacation and you can help people and you can do your thing. But that's not the fucking point, right? Like, I know that there becomes this comfortable, and I'm fighting through this now, not because I'm greedy and I want more money. More money just allows me to give to the foundation, pay the fucking IRS, the cocksuckers, right? And everything else that you have to do when you get more money, right? As the philosopher Puff Daddy says, more money, more problems, but they're good problems to have. Right. And so I want you to think they're good problems to have. Now, back to the story here. When you get more money, then you start to find yourself trying to get comfortable. Right. The brain, just like the treadmill, the brain's like, oh, well, now you got, a few $100,000 or a few million in the bank and you've got all these assets. Like, just chill the fuck out, man. You can take a break now. And that's not true. That's not true. But that's, again, trying to push you back to your comfort zone. And I'm telling you, money is a mental thing. Right? You don't believe me? Let's talk about upper limits. Now, I'm going to teach you how to scale, grow, leverage, and advertise your way to $1 million in this episode. Might be a little bit longer than our normal episode. But first, I've got to change your mindset, because when you change your mind, you change your life. Okay? And I know I keep saying that because it's a big deal to me. You change your mind, you change your life. And that can happen up or down, right? I'm trying to change your mind to biggerly thinking, as our president says. So back to the story. When you have this 6-figure mentality, the world tells you, you look around, especially if you came up like me and your family didn't really make a whole lot of money. And like my parents, they make all right money like later on in life, but when I was growing up, they probably made $40,000 or $50,000 a year, something like that. And, most of us grew up that way too. We weren't like, this isn't the show for like the Ivy League silver spoon people, even though we're glad you're here if you grew up that way. But the thing is, we get to 6 figures and we're like, oh, I make more money than my dad. Fuck yeah. And then we start getting comfortable. And then we look at our friends, and like our friends, they make $40,000, $50,000 a year. And we're like, dude, I'm making $150,000 a year. None of my friends are making that kind of money. Oh, shit. Does this mean I have a huge cock? Right? Like, you start this process, and then your mind's like, dude, well, you're doing better than everybody you know, man. It's all good. Take a fucking break, dude. Go buy yourself a boat, right? Tells you to do stupid shit like that. Go buy a boat. Go get an exclusive hotel at the Ritz or whatever the fuck that people do. I saw him seeing the headline in front of me, Chance the Rapper. This dude, let me give you a good example, right? This dude, Chance the Rapper. I don't like his song, right? But that's all good. He's a talented fella. But this guy, Chance the Rapper, he works all of his life for free, right? Makes demo tapes, podcasts, all that shit for free. Kind of like me in the hardcore closer thing. Finally, he gets a deal with Jay-Z. Jay-Z gives him a few $1 million. And now I read on the headlines today that Chance the Rapper donates $1 million to Chicago schools. Do these people have nobody around them advising them what to do with their money? Do you know how fucking stupid it is to give $1 million to a public school in the middle of one of the biggest fucking cities in America? That $1 million is going to do about as much good as handing $1 to a homeless fucking person on a New York street corner. When you think about it, their budget's probably $3 billion a year. $1 million ain't shit. And Chance the Rapper, nobody in his fucking life was like, bro, don't do that. You would do better to take 20 people and then pay for them to go to private school for the rest of their fucking life than you would have given $1 million. But nobody's there to advise this guy. So that's what I'm saying. is you find yourself in that same situation. You make more money than your friends, you make more money than your parents and everything in between. And the next thing that you know, nobody's there to tell you. It's like, bro, don't give a fucking $1 million to fucking school. Holy fuck, don't do that. Especially not in Chicago. Go give $1 million to fucking small school in a small town somewhere where it will make a difference. Not in the most fucking corrupt city in the fucking country. Nobody told to do that. Just like nobody will tell you. You go and you talk to your mom or your friends and you're like, I'm making 150 grand a year, but next year I'm going to shoot for $1 million. And then they say shit like that. What are you going to do with $1 million? What's $1 million going to do for you? Smoking their cigarettes and shit. You don't need $1 million, you greedy bastard. Your father and I, we both lived on a comfortable salary of $40,000 and you never went without, and you love the government cheese. Right? Like they start fucking making you feel guilty for wanting to fucking level up. But meanwhile, like I go meet my tax attorney a couple of weeks ago and the dude's like, well, you're probably the poorest person that I've ever taken in as a client, but I'll start working with you a little early because I believe that you're going to grow. Like, fuck, dude, I made a few $1 million last year, right? That's like, but that's the mentality that I want, right? I want somebody to look at me and go, look, you're a little couple few $1 million last year. Ain't shit. I got clients that are doing hundreds of millions of dollars each year. And so that allows me to change my thinking to like, oh shit, it is possible to do 100 million a year. Now I know somebody doing that. Before, I only knew people doing $1 million, couple million a year. Right now I'm up there and I'm like, shit, I have to look around for people that are doing better than that because, again, I'm in that same situation or was. I'm not now, but I was in that same situation where I've surrounded myself with millionaires. I caught up to them and then I start looking around. I'm like, oh, shit. And the next thing you know, they're going to be like, why are you trying to make 100 million, Ryan? That seems a little pompous, right? Like we have that's another one of my voices. Anyway, so the thing is, like, I know that they would try to, hey, where are you going to find balance, dude? Where are you going to find balance? And all those things that they say. And I know that that's not what I want. I need to be able to press on. So I needed to find people way richer than me so that I can so that I can level up with them, right? So that I can align myself with folks that have huge thinking because I have to change my mind too. So in recap, before I move on to actually how to make the 7 figures, okay, because I'm going to teach you that part too. But in recap, I want you to understand this. You can't make 7 figures with a 6-figure mentality. The same things that made you $150 million or $150,000 a year, right? There's a Freudian slip because I think that's a small number. The same number that got you $150,000 a year is not the same work and the same amount of effort and everything else that'll get you 1.5 million. You got to change. Right. And what happens is we hit these upper limits. Any of you ever get to a point where you got like $10,000, $20,000 saved up in your account and you got to go fucking spend it because you're uncomfortable, because you grew up poor and your parents told you things like money is the root of all evil and don't save money and money can be stolen from you and you start feeling guilty. It's what happens to lotto winners all the time. Right. You've got to change your mind because if you're going to be a millionaire, not only do you have to think like a millionaire, you have to do like a millionaire too. That's where a lot of people miss. And so change your mind, take action. Here's the 4 steps that you take to go from 6-figure to 7-figure. The first one is you got to figure out how to scale. You can't do it alone. Okay? You have to figure out how to scale your business. You have to think, here's the best way to do this. If you're at a point right now, you're making 150, $250,000, maybe $500,000, you're like, dude, I need to get to 7 fucking figures. This is my year. I've spent my entire fucking life trying to do this. I'm trying to hit it this year. And you're like a lone wolf, or maybe you have a small team. The best thing that you can do, I'm talking from personal experience here. The best thing that you can do is write down all the tasks that you still do and write down which ones that you love and that you're the best at. And then write down all of them and then put a star next to the ones that you love and you're the best at and put like an X next to the ones that you hate doing. Assign those ones with the X out to somebody else. That's how you scale. You fucking hire somebody to do that shit that you don't want to do, which is going to enhance your mood. It's going to decrease your procrastination effort. And what it's going to do is it's going to allow you to stay in the zone of shit that you like. And then even if there's a lot of things that you're good at and you like, pick the top 5 or 10 things and then delegate the rest of those out too. Because when you find yourself in a CEO or a team lead or whatever it is that your position is, when you find yourself in a situation to where you have time to think and strategize, that's when the money's made, right? That's when you can implement shit with your team. And what takes a single person maybe 2 weeks to set up, a team of 3 or 4 can do in a day or so. And so you've got to be able to scale, especially if you're going to do more business in order to make more money, right? Like that's a probable step that you're going to have to go through. If you're going to do more business in order to make more money, then you're going to have to be able to put things in place to handle the extra influx of business. And so one of those things is to delegate everything that you can to a technology or an individual. These days, we live in a time where there's tons of technology. You want to delegate. I've got guys that run $10-15 million a year companies that don't even have a sales force, right? They have everything's automated. Look at Facebook. They do a few $1 billion a quarter. They don't have a sales force. Everything's automated. So you can scale that as well. And you have to look at your business and say, okay, right now I have a team of 5 and we're doing $500,000 a year. If we have a team of 10, it would be logical that we would do $1 million a year, right? So what would I do with those other 5 people to be able to help us scale there? And you might think, well, I don't have the money to hire 5 more people. And some of us salespeople, we go out, we buy nice cars and houses and shit like that. I get it, right? Like, and so we'd leverage to the gills so that we keep ourselves hungry and all that. I get it too. But in order to scale, you're going to have to hire new people. And you're going to have to, at the very least, you're going to have to implement technology. But you can't get to 7 figures if you're at 6 figures now doing the same shit with the same people. You're going to have to scale that bad boy. That means you're going to have to scale your advertising. That means everything else. So the second thing is to identify the growth, okay? And so the first step is to scale your business. The second thing is to identify the growth. Let's say that we sell information products here at Hardcore Closer. I identified that our best source of income was the Tribe and Break Free Academy. We started tracking metrics about 2 years ago. Well, we doubled down to where that's all we have now. Those 2 programs. Everything else didn't even add up to what we do on those 2 programs. So we got focused right there because those were the places where we could grow the most. And those showed the most return on investment, not just dollars wise, but like fulfillment wise for me too, because I love working with people at the Break Free Academy, Entourage, and the people in the Tribe. If you're not for sure what the Entourage is, that's our coaching program. That's where everybody starts working with us. It's $2,500 a year. So it's super affordable. You can go over to breakfreeacademy.com/entourage because I'm always selling motherfucker. I'm a salesman. Anyway, go over there and sign up, dude. It'll be the best. If you and I working together for 12 months can't put at least $5,000 more in your pocket, like something is up, man. Something like you dropped the fucking ball. It's that simple, right? I've helped people become millionaires. I'm not like the only person to ever make 7 figures and then turn around and be like, oh, sorry guys, I'm not bringing y'all with me. No, I'm not that guy. I brought people from the Tribe, and eventually people will come up through Entourage. It's still a brand new program. People will come up through Entourage and make 7 figures. You could be one of them. breakfreeacademy.com/Entourage. But we identified those places where we could grow, and we invested heavily in those places. So I've got clients like Ryan Chapman that's up in Chicago, and he identified that the place where they were doing the most business and that they could grow the most was their VA division. They like doing VA loans. They're IRLs, interest rate reduction loans. It's a Veterans Administration loan. It's backed by the government, and it's a mortgage product. And Ryan Chapman, they do like 50 to 70 of those every single month. That's a lot of mortgages, right? Because they identified where they could grow, and they have scaled their advertising accordingly. We'll talk about that in a few minutes as well. But like that's an example of you've got to, instead of Ryan focusing on FHA and conventional and all these other things and all these other products that exist in the mortgage world, they just doubled down on VA, man, and said, fuck it, we're just going to do as many of these as possible. And so number 3, leverage. Okay, you've got to, like, so these are all intertwined. You can't have one of these without the other. Okay, so you got to be able to scale your business. You got to identify the growth place. Then you've got to leverage everything that you have. And I don't mean go get loans to get shit. That's a bad idea. I'm over here, multiple 7 figures a year, debt free. I got a small mortgage on my house. I lease some cars. I got no credit card debt, school debt, none of that shit. None of it. None of all assets, all fucking liquid. And then I don't say that to brag. I'm proud of it because I've done this shit the hard way. But I say that because you don't have to go out and I say leverage, and a lot of people think, oh shit, he's talking about getting bank loans. I hate owing money. I hate owing money too. Right. I use Amex because I don't even want to fucking get a chance that I might make like a minimum payment or something on a credit card, because Amex makes you pay the whole damn thing every month. I just don't even want that opportunity, man. I'm just not that way. But what I mean by leverage is that you've got to find ways to leverage what you have, leverage technology, leverage the people working for you, leverage referrals from clients, leverage the referral relationships that you have. You have to look for leverage every way that you can, because look, if you're going to be a team of 10 making $1 million a year, who's to say that you can't leverage that team better than you leveraged the 5 before and y'all make $2 million a year? That's what I did. Right? Like, so in Hardcore Closer alone, one of my companies last year, we did 1.9 million in sales. And I did that with a small team, and I didn't go out and hire a bunch more people. I made the mistake of doing that, and then sales got worse. It fucked our shit up for like 60 days. It really did. We had a bunch of new people running around, chickens with their heads cut off. It's fucked up. I stripped it back down to my original Navy SEAL camp. That's what I have right now. I got 4 people in sales. That's it. And so I stripped it back down to those people, and I leveraged the shit out of them and worked with them and taught them. And now those guys, like, we'll do double that this year with the people that we have in place because they're leveraged correctly. I didn't have to go out and grab a bunch of other people. I scaled the business with the 2 programs only because we spotted the growth. Then I leveraged my sales team with the right way and the identification that they needed to be able, like the identity in the marketplace that they needed to be able to go out and sell the stuff. And then number 4 is advertise. And with advertising, like, it's been key to the success of my business. And the fastest way to go from 6 to 7 figures is to get in front of more people. And oftentimes a salesperson thinks, well, to get in front of more people, I just need to go to more networking events and spam more, email blast and go meet more builders and go knock on more doors. And that's not the thing, right? What you need to do is, as a salesperson or whatever the case, right, you need to advertise. You need to figure out some sort of bait. Now, let's go through this whole process together. There's some sort of bait that your market would take that would give you the ability to have their permission to be able to call and follow up with them and ultimately pitch them on your business. And you can do all this stuff via autopilot. Right now, when somebody signs up for some of the programs that we've set up, not for Hardcore Closer, but for some of our other businesses, what happens is someone sees an ad, they click on the ad, they sign up for the ad, they get an immediate slide dial voice message, they get an email sent to them 10 minutes later, and then 30 minutes later, they get a text. All from an advertisement. That's sales 101 shit that a salesperson, you can't rely on them 24/7 to do that, all in one place because of an advertisement. Now, I'm able to get that advertisement in front of right now 2,500 people a day. Out of those 2,500 people, that's literally me rolling around and pitching 2,500 people a day. There's no way I could do, there's no humanly way that I can do that, but through advertising I can. And it's only a matter of 10 days, I'm in front of 25,000, right? 100 days, I'm in front of 250,000. And so you don't even have to advertise long term. In 2016, we spent a little over $250,000 on Facebook ads for one of our businesses. And as a direct result of that, we built a list. And this year we will spend maybe 1/10 of that to get the same results, because we just had to run our advertising for a solid year to build our base, our following, you people, right? You people, right? You people that listen to this and everything else. And now we've got the database. And so now we got to do is be like Future, be like, I serve the base, I serve the base. Anyway, that's what we're doing. So 4 things that are going to help you go. Really 5, because number 1 is ultimately mindset, right? We spent a long time talking about mindset today. But these 4 things are paramount, right? To go from a 6-figure income to a 7-figure income, first of all, you have to scale what you're doing. You cannot do it alone, and you most likely cannot do it with the same people that are in place right now. Number 2, you have to look for growth places, like focus on where you can grow. Maybe, oftentimes we try to beat the dead horse. We try to revive shit that we shouldn't even be fucking with, and then we don't even focus on the things that are going good, right? We're like, oh, it's going good, just let it do its thing. When really that's exactly what we need to be focused on, is the thing that's doing good, and spend all of our time and effort in it, making it better. Take it from, as Jim Collins says, good to great. Number 3, leverage. Look for leverage everywhere. Referrals, the people you work for, or people you work with, technology. Anywhere you can gain leverage, you're going to have to if you're going to make 7 figures. Look, my friend Marshall Silver says he plays every ace that he gets, right? And so you have to do the same thing. Every piece of leverage that you can get, right? Anytime you can get something that is going to help get you to where you need to go, you need to take it. Oftentimes we look over deals and we think, it's not that big of a deal. But to get to 7 figures, you can't leave any stone unturned. Leverage the shit out of everything. And number 4, you're going to have to advertise. The biggest brands that make the most money, the top dogs, the big ballers, they all advertise. You got to embrace it, spend your money there. It will give you a return on investment for years to come. Like I said, we spent $250,000 last year. We'll work this list and sell this list for the next 10 years, right? And consistently deliver awesome value for the next 10 years off of one advertising campaign that lasted about 8 months. Something to think about. So, hey, check it out. Be sure to go over to elevatortothetop.com and grab a copy of my best-selling book for free. It's like I charge you $8 to ship it to you. It's just go over there, sign up, get it. Join the Break Free Academy Entourage. I'm not bullshitting. breakfreeacademy.com/entourage. Let me change your mind and change your life. I've got a track record of doing it. I have helped a lot of people. You're no different. Step into our world for $2,500 a year. I will let you be surrounded, you'll be surrounded by like the best network you could possibly ask for of masterminds orchestrated by me. I'm like the conductor. It's like we're letting you sit in the band, and then 6 months from now, imagine how good you'll be with your instrument. Okay. So make sure you get your book, sign up at breakfreeacademy.com/entourage. And dude, don't forget to leave me a review on iTunes. And here's my final thing. You have to believe that you're worth 7 figures. That's part of that mindset that I was talking about. And I believe that you are. Just the fact that you're listening to this show, even if this is your first time here, trying to get better at what you're doing now is a sign that you're destined for greatness. You're trying to get better at sales. You're trying to get better at doing life. You're trying to make more money so that you can do what? What are you going to do with that extra money? You're going to set up a legacy for your kids, of course, but you make $1 million a year, 3 or 4 years down the road, you're going to have a lot of money left over. What else are you going to do? You have to decide what you're going to do with that money, and you have to come up with a game plan and follow it accordingly. Get there, invest accordingly, and follow that game plan. Because look, you can't just wing $1 million, right? That shit you see where people get lucky overnight on social media or something goes viral, that ain't for us. None of us are going to be that lucky. We're going to have to work for it. And you have to believe that you're worth it, or you'll never work for it. Okay? And all I ask today is that you allow me to change your mind, because it will change your life. Thanks for listening.